Well, thank you, Francoise, for the explanation about our new alliance and what it is we're trying to do. And I'm just going to talk just for a little bit, 4 minutes maybe, about our future plans. Now, the thing is, it's important in life and in business to have very clear objectives. And just to really illustrate this, because in case some of you are wondering why we even need a new body like ours, I think, as Francois said, it became evident at both a European level and certainly in our case in the UK at a national level, how remarkable it was, how many few people really understood about our industry. And I think this is something that maybe all of us, we work very hard, we keep our heads down, we focus on making our businesses and our brands successful, but we don't realize how important it is to actually occasionally pause and explain who we are and, dare I say, why we're important. If you compare the luxury sector with other sectors, say the automotive sector or many other sectors, actually, they have been much better at doing this than us. So in terms of our aim for the future, for this group and the 3 organizations and soon hopefully more, our aim is essentially to focus on the opinion formers across Europe, and that means both the opinion formers in Brussels and many other parts of society in Europe. And of course, as Francois said, and as Santos said, we are aiming to make the obvious point of our, if you like, our economic strength, our economic significance, and the employment and jobs that comes with that. But there is actually something that's a bit more subtle and takes a bit more explaining and needs more illustrating, and that is, if you like, the role that our creativity and our cultural heritage and our place in society plays in terms of the importance of our business. And again, this might be something that internally we all take for granted, but actually it makes us a rather unique sector and one that needs explaining. And what all that creativity, if you like, actually adds up to, and the main message we need to get across, is actually the level of innovation. And again, this is something we probably all take for granted, but we are innovating the whole time, and we need to come together to explain and provide examples of that. So, how are we going to do that, if that's the aim? Well, it has 3 parts. The first is what you might call the knowledge. Probably very few of you know this, but in London, the cab drivers have to take a test, and sometimes they have to prepare for it for up to 3 years, and it's called the knowledge. Well, in our case, we need the knowledge, but it needs to be the Brussels knowledge. And in other words, we need to know what's going on in Brussels, what's coming up, what could be threatening, and it all starts with knowing what's going on. The second thing is we obviously then have to react to that knowledge when we know things that are important that are coming up, and that's, if you like, a defensive or a reactive process. And a good example of what we're doing currently, obviously, as Francois explained, in the past we were dealing with the vertical restraints and selective distribution, and dare I say that was very successful. But, of course, the work never stops, and we're currently involved in a very important process on something called the Ecommerce Directive consultation. And, of course, there will be other things like this that come up. So, if you like, that's the second part, reacting defensively and effectively against any potential threats to our industry. Now, the third thing, in many ways, is the most interesting thing, which is where we take the lead, where we're proactive. And in this, obviously, it is partly about a communications job, partly about having a plan and identifying ways to get these messages across. But it is also, we feel, important to focus on a theme or some themes for 2011. And it might seem slightly counterintuitive, but we feel that a theme that we could really focus on for next year is, if you like, luxury in the digital world. Now, why is that maybe slightly counterintuitive? I think in the past we've maybe been accused of being a little bit what we might call in English late to the party in terms of grasping the significance of e-commerce. But we feel now we are really fully engaged as an industry. Very few of us don't understand the importance of e-commerce. And in some very interesting cases, we are actually leading the way and innovating. Now, of course, this is a topic, I believe, of huge importance to us all in the industry. And as with all brands, not just luxury brands, we continue, if you like, to struggle with some issues to do with e-commerce. One of them, and I think this is particularly difficult for us as an industry, is how different actually online retail is from offline. Secondly, it seems an obvious thing to say, but actually being profitable online, making money online, is not always as easy as it seems. And thirdly, we have to grasp the opportunities with social commerce. So, if you like, we've chosen this as a theme because we realize it is of huge importance to us as businesses, but also for another very important reason. We feel that, if you like, the digital arena is the next great stage on which, if you like, the cultural and creative significance of our brands is being played out, if that doesn't sound too grandiose a statement. And by that, what we mean is that whether we like it or not, our brands are being talked about online every day, every minute, every second. We know that in terms of what's happening in terms of the social networks and elsewhere. So we are major online players, like it or not. And what we hope to do is to be able to identify ways in which we are actually making a significant difference online, both culturally and creatively, and in terms of how we are innovating as brands to grasp those opportunities. Now, the absolute essence to being successful in all of this is what Françoise and Santos said. It is working together. And I think in this sense, as I said at the beginning, maybe as an industry, we've been a little bit slow to fully work together, although the three organizations have been working together for a long time. So I'd just like to finish, if I may, with an appeal to all of you in the industry to join us in this common endeavor, to please, if you have any ideas about new countries, as Françoise said, who could join us, other people who'd like to get involved, and of course any ideas you may have about things you think it's important that we focus on from a defensive point of view, or indeed any ideas you have about things we could do to bring alive just how special our industry is. So thank you all very much indeed.